Now welcome back to part 2 of the God of War timeline. But for those that haven't checked out part 1, I highly recommend you do. And for those that have, let's continue the adventure.
With the help of the Titans, Kratos has waged a new war against the gods of Olympus. Eventually Kratos and Gaia come face to face with Zeus at the summit of Mount Olympus. However, the god of thunder easily defeats them.
While hanging on the mountain edge, Gaia informs Kratos there was nothing but a mere pawn in her overall plan.
No! God, please, no!
Losing his grip, Kratos falls to his death and finds himself back in the underworld, only to be greeted by the ghost of Athena.
Gifting him with the Blades of Exile, Kratos battles his way through the kingdom of Hades before defeating the rule of the underworld.
With newfound power, Kratos returns to the world of the living, where gods meet their demise at his violent hands. However, Kratos still doesn't have the means to defeat Zeus.
The power found within the box of Pandora is his only resort. However, the only being that can open this accursed item is Pandora herself, who's a prisoner of the legendary labyrinth.
Oh, really?
After many twists and turns, Kratos frees Pandora, and together the pair make that long and dangerous journey back to Mount Olympus. However, the god of thunder is ready and waiting.
Oh, crap.
Father and son battle each other in a violent brawl, and while the pair are focused on one another, Pandora makes the ultimate sacrifice in order for Kratos to open the accursed box of power.
But it turns out that Pandora's box is actually empty, and so the fight between father and son begins once again.
As they violently clash with one another, Gaia suddenly appears, and then swallows them both, but unaware of the repercussions that this would bring.
Interesting.
While inside Gaia, Zeus and Kratos continue their fight, and eventually using the Blade of Olympus, Kratos manages to defeat Zeus by driving the sword through his chest and into the beating heart of Gaia.
Gaia dies instantly, but somehow the ghost of Zeus rises up from his body, grabs Kratos, and plunges him into a nightmarish vision of the past.
Reliving some of his most heinous actions, Kratos manages to overcome this dark and vile place thanks to the power of hope. With this new resolve, Kratos destroys Zeus with his bare hands, killing the thunder god in an act of over-the-top violence.
Realising that he had the power of hope all along, Kratos laments the loss of Pandora, when suddenly the ghost of Athena appears before him.
She wants Kratos to relinquish the power of hope so she can rule and shape the world in her image. But with his hatred of the gods even more profound than ever before, Kratos plunges the Blade of Olympus into his chest.
By some sort of miracle, Kratos manages to avoid returning to the kingdom of Hades, and eventually he leaves Greece forever.
So much later that the old narrator got tired of waiting and they had to hire a new one.
Just over a decade has passed, and Kratos is now living in a remote part of a forest within Asgard. Sadly though, tragedy has struck once again. His wife has passed on, leaving just himself and their son the task of fulfilling her dying wish. But before they can begin this journey, a stranger attacks.
The stranger turns out to be the Norse god Balder, who immediately attacks Kratos, and after a long and gritty battle, Kratos comes out on top, but he's very aware that Balder will be back for revenge much later.
As Kratos and Atreus continue on their adventure, they encounter all manner of divine beings, including Freya herself.
Yeah, baby!
Crossing over different realms, it's only revealed to the pair that the highest summit in all of the 9 worlds of Asgard can actually be found in Jotunheim. And upon entering the realm of the giants, Kratos and Atreus battle even more Norse gods and divine beings.
But during the adventure, Atreus becomes violently ill, and thanks to the help of the Norse god Freya, he makes a miraculous recovery. However, Freya also demands that Kratos reveals the truth to his son about his heritage.
Reluctantly, Kratos tells Atreus of his godhood, and the young boy becomes somewhat arrogant, even to the point of murdering a weakened Modi, the son of Thor. Obviously, this angers Kratos, who teaches his son that the death was unnecessary, and that he must learn to be a benevolent and patient god.
Continuing their journey, the pair encounter Freya and Balder once again, with the Norse god violently attacking Kratos for the final time.
Fight.
During the fight, Kratos manages to get the advantage and he wraps his hands around the throat of Baldur, and as he squeezes, he is reminded by Arceus what it means to be a god.
Nice.
With this, Kratos reclaims his calm demeanour and gives Baldur the choice over his own fate, but sadly, the Norse god decides to murder his own mother Freya.
Unable to allow this, Kratos immediately kills Baldur, saving the life of Freya, who bears her utmost hatred to the former god of war.
And I especially hate you!
Leaving Freya with the corpse of Baldur, Kratos and Arceus reach the peak of the highest mountain and all of Jotunheim. Together they scatter the ashes of Lufey and begin to fully trust one another. And while this may be the end of their journey through the land of the ice giants, there are still many adventures in store for Kratos and his son.
Anyway, come back next time where the world's fastest hedgehog returns to the channel for 2 whole months. Thank you so much for watching and see you next game.